Hey everyone, I belong in a dumpster and this is Reviewtion. Today, I'm going to be absolutely raving about one of my favorite albums that's been released this year. Camp Howard's self-titled debut album delivers on all fronts. It's as diverse as it is engaging, and I've had it on repeat for a few weeks now. This album is meant to be played on a hazy summer night, and I wish I could skateboard so I could listen to this while cruising down the street as dusk is settling in. Please somebody live out that fantasy for me and send me a review of how it goes for you. The album opens with about 15 seconds of chaotic, distorted guitars while the drums and intro riff are hidden in the background. Suddenly, out of the chaos comes a heavy guitar riff that immediately gets my head banging. The heaviness is evened out by how smooth the voice of lead singer Nick Perea is. In this regard, the opening track tends to remind me of Led Zeppelin in the contrast between heavy instrumental and floating vocals. The drummer is in the pocket, and it's clear from the incredibly executed paradiddle fills that his style is heavily jazz influenced. Plus, he has a great sense of dynamics. Right out of the gate, this song grabs your attention, and the album refuses to let go of it for the rest of its running time. You've Been Misled is the first song I heard by Camp Howard. I was in my friend's car listening to his Bangers playlist when it came on, so I immediately wrote the band name down and binge listened to this album on repeat. This song is hella catchy from the very beginning. Jazzy guitar parts and vocals with just enough reverb on them really make this song shine. The chorus in this song is something I randomly quietly sing to myself because it gets so deeply embedded in my head. I don't even care, burdens off my back, I'm unaware. There's an incredible instrumental breakdown after the second chorus on this song that shows off the entire band's musical chops, without being flashy. Along with this, it highlights just how incredible the production is on this album. The drums are crisp, and they do some really nice panning tricks without being tacky. Throughout the song, there are two different guitars playing the same thing in each ear, with one being distorted and one being clean, which adds a great deal of depth to the final product. If you put this next song on, 99% of people would probably ask you if it was an old Black Keys song. I mean this in the best way possible though. Lyrically, he talks a lot about the feeling of our current culture being a rat race, but over some incredibly catchy riffs. When it's doggy dog, you'll lick it off the ground. And they think they know just what is best for you. Sum up these feelings of dissatisfaction with modern society pretty darn well. Again, as with just about every song on this album, the musicianship of all the members is seriously emphasized. This band has an incredible skill for showing off individual talents without being showy or indulgent, which they easily could be. Again, I love the panning of the guitars in the instrumental breakdown, and they use that trick a lot in the rest of the album, but it's super effective and I don't get tired of it. Dog also emphasizes Camp Howard's penchant for writing some damn catchy hooks that are incredibly hard to get out of your head. The next song is notable in my mind because of the way it contrasts the heavy riffs that open the song and underlie the chorus with the gentleness of the verse. The verses also have one of the many standout bass lines on this album, which just get me grooving so hard. The bridge here features the whole band taking syncopated hits together as Nick sings slowly over it. The title comes into play here from the last thing he says in the breakdown, "Empty your veins out," which somehow sounds even more dark and terrifying after such a psychedelic interlude. If you're a fan of Tame Impala's first full-length album, then this is Camp Howard's track I definitely recommend you start with. The ending also features effective vocals buried in the mix, complete with phaser, distortion, and reverb. Psychedelic rock at its finest, people. Interestingly, the halfway point on this album is an instrumental track titled Granada. When I hear this track, I instantly feel like I'm sitting in a hammock on a tropical beach on a humid summer night. Sometimes I find it to be super tacky when a band uses sound effects in their songs, but in this case, I absolutely love it. The track opens up with the sounds of peeper frogs, crickets, and birds, which instantly sets the scene for the mood of the song. It's mixed so well that I never feel distracted by these sounds. Plus, they disappear towards the middle when the song picks up. Once again, the mixing nerd inside of me freaks out hearing how outstanding the mixing on this album is, with the two guitars panned to different sides, and same with the bass, especially when they're trading riffs towards the middle. Somehow, these guys managed to make a jazzy instrumental that puts on display how good they are without coming off as pretentious, but instead giving the listener a fun interlude at the halfway point of the album. I'm still unsure of what the lyrics to Heavy Blow mean to me, but that's one of my favorite things about music. how two people can listen to the exact same song and have completely different interpretations of it. Or even, when you listen to a song at different periods of your life, at least for me, it can have drastically different meanings. Anyways, the opening lines are, "Gone way too far, first a bruise, soon a scar. Stand on a scale, only to hate myself." Later on he sings, "I know you're judging me." From my perspective, this seems like a really poignant song on being in an abusive relationship and talking about the anxiety and pain that comes from that, as well as anxiety and depression in general. At first, he was taking hits from his significant other that only left bruises, but soon it escalated to the point of scars. The emotional insults too have gotten him to the point of self-hatred and feeling like the other person is constantly judging him. All of it escalates to the chorus hook that is catchy as hell. "Oh no, heavy blow!" Once again, showing their immense skill in instrumental arrangements. The heavy breakdown in the middle provides a great contrast to the smoothness of the rest of the song. They certainly like to do the whole loud, quiet, loud dynamic structure, but they pull it off with a lot of grace. Dark and creepy songs with great hooks are some of my favorite things, so that might be why I'm in love with this track so much. I love this next song with all of my heart. It just sounds so groovy from the very beginning. All I want is for this to be playing in the background of a nighttime pool party scene in a movie. When I'm listening to this song, I immediately feel like whatever I'm doing at the time is at least 100 times cooler. My Spanish isn't incredible, and this song is in Spanish, so really the only part I can translate well is that the title of the song that appears in the chorus means, "I was crying and smoking." I also love that in the bridge there are shouts and talking buried into the mix. Plus, I'm a fan of how short and sweet this song is, and it stays its welcome just long enough. I don't know, y'all. There's just something really special about this song I can't describe. The next song is about a really fun topic. Finding out that the person you've been dating and are in love with doesn't return the affection anymore. She Doesn't Mind actually pairs well with Heavy Blow, and in my mind forms a bit of a narrative. But hey, I don't want to jump to conclusions. It's been such a long day, she has not a word to say. Her love has gone away. As simple as these lyrics are, they really tug at my heartstrings and set up a painful scene. It gets even sadder later in the song when the title comes in. She doesn't mind watching me bleed. The chorus on this song shines for me and the vocals soar. When I first listened to this album, this was the sleeper song for me. I wasn't blown away by it at first, maybe because it isn't as up-tempo as some of the other songs, but on repeated listens, this has become one of my favorite songs on the record. Alright, welcome to Banger City, y'all. The arpeggiating riff that opens this song is so silky smooth, and I love the shakers behind it. Only a few seconds in, and already this is the perfect summer driving jam. The melody on this is also beyond good. It gets stuck in your head way too easily. I love the sentiment in the verse that, though it's been some time now, you don't feel far away. It's a glimpse of warmth and hope in a record that can sometimes get pretty dark. Halfway through the song, they take a quick turn from light indie pop into heavy psychedelic rock, complete with phased out vocals and drums, which gets me so hyped. Suddenly, Anybody sounds like a plea for help. Then, just as soon as they depart to trippy realms, they loop back around to the original chorus. The song feels just the right length, and it has a whole lot of ideas packed into just 3 minutes, which are all executed incredibly. Now, at first, Wasteland seemed like a surprising choice of a song to close out the album. However, it's seriously a slow burner that ties together a lot of the elements, both musically and lyrically, that are heard throughout the rest of the album. He sings, "Well, I guess it's always been like that. I'll be damned if I don't turn my back. I don't need your love anyway. All I hear are words from the wasteland." Again, this ties in with the narrative I build in my head for the rest of the album, specifically Heavy Blow and She Doesn't Mind. In these lyrics, he sounds fed up with dealing with all the hurtful things the person he's in a relationship throws his way. But towards the end of the song, he is saying, "I need you more every day." In a lot of ways, these two sets of lyrics describe the dual nature of a toxic relationship, where you know the person you love is hurting you, but you still feel like you're depending on them. Or, in a less hyperbolized way, it describes a healthier relationship. Sometimes you get sick of the person you love, but at the end of the day, they're still who you need. Beyond that, the production on this track is extremely beautiful. In the chorus, there are swells of slide guitar buried in the mix that add a lot of sparkle. The vocal doubling is also used extremely effectively to ensure that it's a track you can get lost in. Towards the end of the song, there's a bit of a dancey drum beat, which picks the song up and creates a logical ending for it. It truly is a beautiful and satisfying closer for such a wonderful album. I am amazed by this album. All 10 songs on it bring something unique to the table, so that looking back on it, it's just a string of highlights. It's obvious that they put a whole lot of love into making this album, and this is easily in my top 10 albums of the year, which is saying a lot. I give this album a 10 on a summer night and a cash symbol with wings because this record is money. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you could smash that MFing subscribe button and like the video. It would really mean a lot to me. Keep it classy, friends.